other thing that you can do is, if you really don't know what that scenario is going to look like in the future, but you know that it might be important for us to keep tracking, don't let it fall off the priority list, but keep it to monitor and track it regularly. Okay, so there may be things that you'll see like again, sustainability or global conflict, and you think that might affect us because it'll affect, like if there's war in the Middle East, and it's going to affect a number of things in Australia, including things that take a commercial view around supply chain disruption, and you want to keep track of it, then make sure you've got a process for keeping track of it. And I reckon there are three parts to this. So one is identify what events will change your plan. So what's going to happen that's going to change it? So it could be Trump imposing higher tariffs is going to change our plan because it's going to affect our exports to the US, for example. So you're looking out for that to happen. Okay, so that could be a trigger event. Then the next thing you want to do is know where you're going to look for that information. So where are you going to get your intelligence from? How regularly are you going to be subscribing to things, watching news, attending conferences, so that you can continue to get this intelligence. And the last part of it, which is just as important as the other two, is who is going to be in charge of that. And again, as I said earlier, if you've got somebody who's on that ABC scale, they're an A, and you go, we love this, this is what we want to do, then you've obviously got somebody responsible for that. But even if it's somebody who's a B, that's okay. Okay, but have somebody to do that. Let me give you a quick example. I was working with the board of an organization in regional Australia, and we did this whole future scenarios program. And at the end of it, they identified 4 scenarios that they thought were the most important ones that they needed to address in their regional area. And so what they decided to do, and I'm giving this to you as an example of how you might implement this monitoring and tracking, is they had 4 volunteers, 4 of the board members volunteered, and each of them volunteered to be the champion for one of those 4 scenarios. And so what they would do is, in addition to whatever else they were doing, whenever they saw something that was interesting, they would share it on the board WhatsApp chat group. Also, at every monthly board meeting, 3 of the 4 would give a 5-minute update to the rest of the board about their particular scenario, and the 4th one would give a 30-minute update. So they got the opportunity to do the full, the bigger version, and that rotated through the month by month. Different people got the chance to do the 30-minute presentation. So what it meant was the board every month was getting an update on the 4 scenarios, and 3 times a year, they would get an in-depth update on each of those scenarios. So that's the process that they put into place for tracking the scenarios which weren't on their strategic plan, but they needed to keep an eye on and not forget about. Okay, so what's your process around that?